Hello, Javians, and welcome to our Holiday Edition podcast. I'm here today with Rix Chavix and Horan Cats, our usual suspects. We will talk about how we celebrate the holidays in our content. Who would like to start?
I volunteer. Horror Cat's the start.
I made the mistake
He made
of
the mistake
stating
of
that
saying he
I
was
was
prepared.
prepared. Yeah. So obviously, horror is the main thing that I create on movies and games, books, comics, basically anything horror. The thing about horror and the holidays is horror loves to take things that are familiar and comfortable and twist them in a way that makes you uncomfortable. So holiday horror is really big, and Christmas is probably the biggest one. There are so many Christmas horror movies, and one of the things that does best on my channel is list videos because I've seen everything and I can just kind of whip up a list from memory. Sometimes I have to rewatch a couple of the movies just to get all the details right. But uh, this year, well, first off, let me say what I've done the last 2 years that I've been on the channel. First one, I think it was six international holiday horror movies. So I did basically anything made outside of the US, but also non English speaking because there's a lot of British ones that are fairly well known over here. So yeah, it was like the Advent Calendar, which was a French one. Inside is a French one. There was a Danish one called The Saint, I think. That one's really hard to track down. Actually, I ended up having to buy it for $20. But
Wow.
and then the last year I was a little crunched on time, so I just did like my 10 favorite ones. This year, I'm specifically doing a list of six horror movies that will ruin Christmas. Like they're either so perversive of the holiday or they're just so like Terrifier 3 came out this year and it's a Christmas movie and I don't know if you've seen the Terrifier movies, but they have been getting more and more severe and intense and they're super rough to watch.
Yeah.
So, Terrifier 3 would definitely ruin it for anybody who likes Christmas. So yeah, it basically just a list video is my favorite way to do holidays. I've done at least one for everything like Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, not a whole lot on Thanksgiving, oddly. But yeah, list video of horror movies that will ruin Christmas and what specific way they'll ruin Christmas. Like one of them is Jack Frost from 1997, which is about a serial killer who is chemically melded with snow and goes about serial killing, but as a snowman.
I remember that
And
one.
the funniest thing about it is it came out 1 year before Jack Frost, the children's Christmas movie about a sentient snowman. So the specific scenario with that one is like you're a kid in the Blockbuster or the Hollywood Video with your parents, and they've just got the titles on that yellow background. So and somebody put the wrong one in the Jack Frost section.
Getting
Yeah.
those mixed up.
Yep, great way to ruin Christmas. Like your parents just send you up to your room, your little like you remember those 11-inch VCR TV combos? They'd just be like, "Go watch your movie. Go watch your movie. We have to
Yeah.
do
Good
taxes
luck
or
with
whatever."
that, Timmy.
Yeah. Mom, Jack Frost is a lot different than I remember.
Hey, a lifetime
Um,
of therapy.
yeah. So that's kind of the conceit of this list feature I'm doing.
That's awesome.
I've got the next 6 days off. Yeah, plenty of time. I'm hoping to get it wrapped up by tomorrow, though, because I want it to come out at least a couple days before the actual holiday.
So, if anyone had enough of the in laws visiting, they can just put in your playlist and they will go home.
Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly. That's actually one of the things. Like if because I'm not a big fan of Christmas, so a sub conceit of the list video is like if you want to ruin Christmas for someone else, you get them to watch this on or around Christmas.
Right. Share with your friends.
Yeah, exactly. If anybody does do holiday content, one mistake I always make is I never do these lists soon enough because probably like around the 5th of the month, I started getting views on my older Christmas themed lists.
Hmm.
And that's like because like people get into the month and they say, okay, it's time for me to go through my list, or I want to watch some Christmas horror, and they Google it, and your content will come up. So do it earlier than I do if you do Christmas content.
I think that's a
Yeah,
very good
timing,
advice.
timing.
Yeah, definitely do it earlier. Try and aim for the first week of the month of whatever holiday you're, well, specifically for Christmas because it's at the end. Get it in at least 20 days before. That's the smartest thing to do.
So basically,
Um
when you see all the decorations in the shops going up and you hear the first holiday music, that's when you want to do your content as well.
yeah, so Thanksgiving around 9 p.m. or
Right after Thanksgiving.
the day after Halloween, do your Christmas thing. That's I mean, because Halloween's my favorite for obvious reasons, but I always feel like the day after Halloween, suddenly I've got that zaddy Target Santa on my TV all the time.
I'm trying to avoid shops and everything around this time of the year, so I don't know when they actually put up the decorations, but I think someone told me that in one shop they already had stuff out before Halloween for Christmas, and like, what?
See, that's absolutely unacceptable. You have to let
Yeah,
Halloween at least go to bed.
Yes.
yep,
You have to, please.
yeah.
And then game wise, there are a few Christmas horror games, but they're all indie. And I landed on one which I have played before. I actually did a let's play, but it was really early on in my YouTubing career. I wasn't so good at just like continuing to talk and make it interesting. So there was only like maybe 5 minutes of the game that I actually thought was funny and worth watching. So I didn't end up publishing it. So I figure I'll just do it in a live stream. I could probably knock it out in 90 minutes. It's called Crimson Snow.
I
Haven't
So,
think
heard of
I
that.
think we get an idea of what will make the snow crimson.
yes. Oh, yeah.
Cranberry sauce.
Yep.
Of course.
Canned. So, yeah, I don't, like, personally, I don't really do Christmas. I'm not a big Christmas person. I never have been. I was actually raised Jewish, and then we kind of moved away from that as a family. Don't observe or do anything like that. So I never really had the holiday rose tinted glasses. So I just don't really get it. I don't have a connection to it, but I do really love Christmas horror movies. I think that it's possibly the finest holiday subgenre, even compared to Halloween. I think the Christmas ones, pound for pound, are just better.
Well, I think it's the mix of things, right? Because Halloween, you're kind of expecting horror and scary things, but how Christmas is such the opposite of horror. I mean, psychologically,
Yeah,
it's supposed to be, but the comparison between the two is such a great canvas to paint on, right? Because it's supposed to be hope and happiness and gift giving and time with your friends and family, and to throw some horror in there just kind of messes with the whole works.
yeah, exactly. Like I said at the beginning, horror is all about taking things that are like familiar and comfortable and giving them this sinister sheen that makes them uncomfortable. It's like the primary trick for making horror effective is taking familiar things and contorting them into
I mean,
something.
yeah, a
Yeah.
snowman could never hurt me. I mean, come on, it's a snowman,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he's
Oh,
got an axe.
he can grow icicle teeth and bite you. Yeah. God, I love that movie. It's so dumb, but
It's really
definitely
stupid.
definitely could ruin a child's Christmas if they thought they were going to watch that other Jack Frost movie that came out a year later.
Yeah,
I'm not
But
a
yeah,
Christmas person either.
I'm a Grinch. I want to I want to give people all the tools they need to ruin Christmas.
that's
Good.
awesome.
So yeah, that's mine. It's nothing big. Like I said, I wish I'd done it earlier, like 3 weeks earlier, but I never remember the kind of SEO of holiday interest starts a lot sooner than I'm prepared to make the videos usually.
Yeah, I used to work. I used to work for a seasonal company way back in the early days of my career. And so we would be preparing holiday stuff like 9 months before.
Mm-hmm.
So, we were doing Easter in September. We were doing Christmas in March. So
Yeah.
it was very strange because we had to create products and things for the holiday. So you had to start, 9 months ahead of time to get them made and get the catalogs printed and get them into the warehouse and everything. So that was very discombobulating from a perspective because you already worked on Christmas and then you had to wait till so it was very strange. But
That's interesting
Yeah.
because probably any game which has like a Christmas update, they are doing it sometime in the summer or at Easter time.
probably,
So
yeah,
by the
yeah.
time it gets released, probably the developers and anyone working on the game had enough of it.
They're sick of Christmas. They're like, hey, it's August. I'm tired of Christmas already.
I used to like Christmas while my dad was alive because it was always a nice and chill, really what Christmas should be about, that you spend time with your loved ones. And even though I know that we were not really well off money, there was always something under the tree what I was happy to get, even if that was something handmade.
Mm-hmm.
But then when my mother remarried, her second husband was more on the Christmas is about fighting. And
Oh, you stepping on people on Black Friday.
Yeah, it's not fun.
it's not, it was not a good time on Christmas Eve because in Hungary Christmas Eve is our main celebration which you spend with your close family, and then on Christmas Day and on the 26th, we don't call it Boxing Day, it's just the second day of Christmas for us. You go and visit your extended family, and both at Christmas Eve at home or when we went to visit family, it was all about him getting into arguments with everyone. And that's not something what I enjoyed as a child. So as soon as I got to that age that I could get away from the family celebrations after dinner and exchanging gifts, I just went up to my room and was playing my games. And when I was game master on a private Lineage 2 server, we noticed that there were quite a few people who were online during Christmas time. And when we spoke to them, it was pretty much the same situation, that parents divorced or fighting or not even having Christmas because they didn't have money for it. So we started doing events in game. We put Christmas trees around the towns, and we all went on the Ventrilo server. We were playing music there, and people were just joining in and speaking to us, and we were sitting in a circle around the Christmas tree in game. So we created there that Christmas experience, what we remembered from like early childhood, but we didn't get to experience in real life. And I think
Well,
that was quite nice.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
great.
could do that as game master on a private server because it was a small, closer community. But I'm wondering if this is something what game companies who are running a live service game should be doing, to have some sort of live event at Christmas. Because for example, in FF14, we do have a seasonal event which is running usually from a week before Christmas until the new year. And you can do the little story for it, you get some gifts, but there's no in person event organized by a community manager.
Right, right.
When you say in person, you mean like your avatar, like in person in the game, like you get together, and
Yeah,
or do you mean
because
like literally in person?
not literally in person but in
Okay.
game, because they do regularly event where the community managers will be streaming, and they go into certain duties and take people with them, and they do like a giveaway on the main plaza of one of the cities. So it's kind of like a bigger organized community event instead of just you logging in and doing something with your friends. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if that's something what would be useful, because I'm guessing around this time there are a lot of people who could use some help, someone they can talk to if, for example,
Absolutely.
Christmas is not a happy holiday for them because they just lost a loved one and they don't know how to celebrate then when they should also feel upset and
Mm-hmm.
they are grieving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome. I think it's a great idea.
this is a tough time of year for a lot of people, like even just regardless of the holiday or any immediate losses or uh traumas isn't the word I'm looking for, but it'll work. Just because, the days are short, it's cold. Well, I mean, not everywhere in the world, I guess, but seasonal affective disorder, less sun, heightened depression all around. So yeah, if you've got people in a community who enjoy being around each other, yeah, if that would be pretty awesome to organize something in that community, even if they just want to be a wallflower. Sometimes that's what people need. I remember back
Hmm.
when I was sli- slightly unbalanced. My roommates would make me go do things I didn't want to, but as soon as I'd get there, I'd feel better, even though I was just kind of like sitting around observing. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I
Um,
think part of Christmas too is that end of the year thing. So even if it's not a religious observance, right? It's look at all the things we survived this year, and we're still here. That kind of taking it in that direction.
yeah, it's almost like a birthday, surviving
Hmm.
one more year. Really quick before we move on from horror, I just wanted to say, Lana, there is a. It's not. It's. It happens during Christmas, but I don't think it's overly Christmassy. It was added to Shudder, uh, as part of their like Christmas lineup, just because it does happen during. But it's called Post Mortem. I'm not sure what it's called in original Hungarian, but it's from 2020. It's a Hungarian horror movie that's been on my list, but I don't think I actually want to watch it on Shudder because evidently it is exclusively English dub. You can't do it in the original Hungarian with subtitles, which is
Oh, that
much.
sucks.
Yeah. Whenever Shudder does that a lot for some reason, they when the Super Deep, which was a Russian horror movie about a true thing, like the deepest hole ever dug in the
Oh
world.
yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
did you
yeah,
watch?
yeah.
Did you watch it?
In original Russian with subtitles. Yeah, I
Oh,
don't
see,
remember where or how. I can't. It's been a while, so.
I was like, this could have been so good if it was in original Russian with subtitles, but it was
Oh, I
dubbed
hate
in
I hate
English, and
watching English dubbed films.
just can't do it. So yeah, I want to watch Postmortem, but I need to find it. I'll like I pay for Shutter, but I'll rent it on its own just to not have to do the English dubs.
Uh,
All the reviews mention it. They're like, why isn't the original Hungarian an option?
I will have a look if I can find it for you.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
that'd
sure
be
I can
awesome.
find it. I'm sure I can find it. I just haven't looked yet. I was just reminded because you were saying you were talking about like Christmas in Hungary, and I was like, oh wait, there's a movie that I haven't watched yet
That's
Yeah,
about
so cool.
Christmas in Hungary.
I'm not really a horror movie person, so not a surprise that I didn't hear about it.
Never would have guessed that about you, Lon.
Probably my horror knowledge is at Resident Evil, and that's it.
Hey, that's fine. That's good horror knowledge.
Yeah,
Okay.
it can be pretty spooky by
Yeah,
yourself at night. Yeah.
I
I love
know.
Resident.
When the movie came out, we were sitting with my friend in the cinema, and usually we wait until the end of the credits because I like to check if there were any like Hungarian names because that would encourage me that look, that Hungarian made it to Hollywood, I can make it as well. And we just couldn't stay as soon as the movie was out. We need to get out of this dark room. So
That's awesome.
that's my relationship with horror.
That's pretty funny to me because I thought all the Paul W.S. Anderson Resident Evil movies I have strong negative opinions about. But that's just because they so different from the games.
Oh yeah. As far as adaptation goes, yeah, they're not
Yeah.
not great.
They're
They do kind
they're
of they do kind of stand on their own though, in a weird way.
they definitely are on their own.
Yes. If you can remove them from the video game and just take them as they come at you. You know, some are better than others. Obviously, there's some really bad examples, but they've
Yeah.
made so many of them.
Sometimes you just
Yeah,
have to do that, like the Final Fantasy Spirit Within movie. It's a great movie on its own. It's done beautifully. I love the cinematics, but it has nothing to do with any of the games.
Final. Is that Advent Children?
No, no,
Is
no.
that
The one before. Advent Children is for FF7, but there
oh
was one Final Fantasy movie with the subtitle Spirit Within. It
Oh,
had,
I remember that. I was in a theater to see that.
and
Spirits with it.
it's basically about some of the same concepts what you can find in Final Fantasy games, but it's not related to any of the games.
It's not a
gotcha.
direct adaptation. Yeah. It does stand up pretty good though.
Yeah, if you just look at it as a film and you don't try to find a connection to the games, then it's great.
I don't want to derail this too too much further, but
Yeah.
I will say that because those are animated, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
3D
yeah.
computer
Yeah.
animation.
So the computer animated Resident Evil movies are actually in universe and really good and in keeping with the games. I never understood. There's four of them now, and I never understood why they couldn't do a live action one with that same vibe. But
Hmm.
anyway, we don't.
I'll have to check that out. I didn't even know there was animated Resident
Me
Evil
neither.
games. I mean, movies.
Yeah, yeah. There's Degeneration, Damnation,
Yeah.
Vendetta, and then one more. Oh, and there's that Netflix series, Infinite Darkness. So
Okay, that I did know about. Okay, yeah.
yeah,
Huh.
and those are all canon in like game universe entries. They're just films. So, or I
Oh,
guess
nice.
technically they're not films. But yeah. Anyway, back to Christmas.
Yeah.
So,
Ho, ho,
Rix,
ho.
how is Christmas for a space pirate? Are you still shooting at ships?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we're having our Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer roam here today, about an hour after I hang up with you guys. And Rix will be handing out to each of the pilots that participate in our roam today. I'll be handing out gifts, mostly ship skins. I get a allowance of very special ship skins from CCP
Ooh.
each month, and so I should save those up, and I'll hand them out today. And anybody who we kill who loses a ship, I will also be sending them an email after the roam is over with a Christmas gift message and a free skin code so that they can have their own skin. So that's my way of doing that and giving back a little bit to that. As far as in-game stuff goes, and of course, you were talking about events and Final Fantasy, and every year for the last few years, CCP runs what's called the Winter Nexus in game, and so that's kind of the way we do Holiday in Eve. It's not really, we don't have avatars, obviously, so it's hard to get around a campfire and put up Christmas trees in Eve, but they do run an event called the Winter Nexus, which is strangely enough, it makes it snow in space, which is kind of cool. I have no idea what the physics behind that might be, but there are event sites you can run that have snow and winter themes to them. So that's kind of a cool thing. As far as me, I just posted a video for you guys over in the podcast channel, but that I did last year. So we were on a roam last year, and as it was kind of boring. So as a joke, I started a songwriting contest in chat, and we ended up together as a group writing a Christmas song. And I posted it on Twitter, the lyrics once we finished, and someone was kind enough to use AI to turn it into a actual song with music, and so I felt compelled to do a video to it, and it turned out really cool. I thought, for the most part, it
That's
was kind of
quite
fun.
cool. I like that.
Yeah, that is.
And of course, I've been doing this for a very long time now. Almost a little over 15 years of content creation for Eve, and I have quite a backlog and a library of things. So every year, I usually would create a custom wallpaper for people, a holiday themed one. Some better than others, but a couple of them were really, really popular. And I use those. Like this year, I'm not doing one because basically of time constraints and things. So I didn't do an original, but I shared older ones through social media and stuff. So a lot of people, come and go, and the community changes. So if I bring up something from 8 years ago, uh, a lot of people who are playing the game now have never seen it before, so it's new to them, right?
Yeah.
And then there have been years in which there were contests held and things like that. So there's a video I created, a GIF actually from, gosh, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago, of two spaceships meeting in space, and I animated little gifs, wrapped gifs, for Christmas gifts coming out of one
Oh,
and going into the other,
Oh,
and then they exchange gifts in space, and I can't remember what the message was. It was like this the time of year to exchange gifts or something, but friendship is forever kind of thing, and so I post that every year too. It's kind of become a holiday tradition.
well, that's fun.
Yeah,
Are
kind of
are
neat.
there any I'm not a I don't know much about Eve, but is there like a Hoth-like planet, like a snow planet that you could all go like make a big circle around and hang
Right,
out?
right. Yeah, there are several different kinds of snow planets. There's in the game, but yeah, getting all of us around a planet would just result in a large amount of civilian deaths. So
Fair.
we're not a group that gets together much. Uh,
Christmas collateral damage.
yeah, yeah. We pretty much. I mean, in Eve, if you think about the thing is in game. We're all in spaceships. We don't walk around, or
Yeah.
we don't, and so we will get together for like memorial services. Um, if a well-known player has passed, or every year, years ago, there was a player who committed suicide, and his mother became very, very involved in the community afterwards.
Oh
And
wow.
I actually interviewed her for a video I made for a program that we have called Broadcast for Reps. I think I may have mentioned this program in a previous podcast with you guys, but Broadcast for Reps is basically a player-run organization that is a place for people who are in need of mental health services, or are feeling depressed or in trouble somehow in the real world, can reach out to fellow players, and people try to help them as best we can, mostly by just listening, and then trying to get them services, actual official services in the regions in
Yeah.
which they live, that kind of thing. And so Mom Bellicose, and that so there's John Bellicose Day every year. That was her son, and so everybody gets together and lights fireworks and sinos in local. So there's no shooting or killing each other,
I was
during those kinds of events.
I was about to ask if there's some kind of like 24-hour amnesty kind of.
There there is an understood amnesty, in a do not shoot, but I mean, of course, even in those events, you'll have people who show up to do wrong, you
Yeah.
know, uh,
Yeah.
but generally we take care of it on our own.
Quickly,
Yeah,
swiftly.
yeah. So I mean, when Carl Sagan passed, I remember a lot of us lit sinos in his memory. I know I remember doing that with my group, things like that. But it's rare, and so yeah, Christmas probably wouldn't qualify as one of those. So if
Yeah.
I told everybody to get to a certain place at a certain time, it would just be chaos. So yeah.
Just it'd be wreathing chaos through
Hmm.
their path there.
Yeah. So I mean, other than that, I mean, in game, there's not much you can do. We're kind of limited. But I think that the gift giving thing, I'm going to be, well, I started it last Saturday actually. So this, just in case, because you never can tell who's going to be online at a particular time. So I tend to do it over 2 weekends. So I did it last Saturday as well, and I'll do it again today. And then that'll be the end of that. And as far as content goes, I'm not really planning this year. I mean, last year we did the holiday song video, and I've done things like that in the past, but I'm not really planning on anything like that this year.
I should do a horror themed holiday song. That would be really
That would be
fun.
awesome. Yeah, holiday themed horror song. We can help you write it,
Yeah, yeah. Do
or
you
just use Chat GPT now, I guess.
do you find yourself doing like my brain loves a pun and a reference? So do you ever
Right.
find yourself doing
Yeah.
stuff like we'll go to the Scars of Kaldari Prime, get together, have a few laughs?
Have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I do
Doing
that all the time,
Okay.
literally. I'm kind of well known for it, but yes, I'm a really bad dad joke guy and a pun guy.
I think I have enough pets to like equal
Qualify as a dad.
one child, one human child.
Right.
So yeah, I do a lot of dad jokes too.
It's interesting that
Yeah,
you
that's
mentioned the snow in space because I thought that our Christmas decoration in FF14 is the weirdest sometimes because they will put up like seasonal decoration in all the starting cities. One of them is a forest. Fine, you can get like any weather in a forest basically. The other one is in the middle of the desert, and yes, it's snowing
right,
there.
right. It's snowing there. Yeah.
And the other one is basically the beach. Like one location in that area is called Costa del Sol. And you have a snowman, a Christmas tree, and a pile of snow on the beach.
Right.
But I think
Well, I
that
have.
your snow in this space, that one.
Yeah, I don't understand the snow in space at all. And when I'm flying through it, I just don't ask a lot of questions, I guess.
It must be some
Surely,
kind of like poisonous gas in the area or something
Yeah,
which
yeah.
makes you
It's
hallucinate.
really can't be good for you.
surely, if you brought snow up, it would be fine in space. It would just float around, right? It would probably be extremely frozen and hard, but I think you could get snow in the vacuum of space, couldn't you?
I,
If you
I
brought it there?
I guess. I mean, it wouldn't be blown about though, would it? I mean, it would just kind
No,
of sit there.
I don't think that's what solar winds means.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's one of those situations where we probably the more we think about it, the less romantic it becomes, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's just accept it that there
But I
is
appreciate.
snow in
Yeah, I
space.
appreciate the effort.
Well, maybe Santa brings the snow to space.
Hey, magic of Christmas, right? We can just
Yeah.
wave a wand over anything and go the magic of Christmas. It makes it
Yeah.
okay.
When I was still
Exactly.
raid leading, we were doing some special raids for Christmas. We had a Christmas glam run. So we would go into this 48-man raid with everyone dressed in some sort of Christmas glam. And there is a boss in the raid which has hot and cold mechanics. And because of a certain song, we just call her Katy Perry. And
Nice.
we actually rewrote that song with lyrics which would fit with the game. And it became a tradition that whenever we got to that boss, the raid leader would sing that song. And for the Christmas one, my co raid lead, who actually has a small band, he got his guitar out and he was singing it and playing the guitar, and everyone got these light stick emotes out and were cheering there with the light sticks in game. We have a video of that. I will find it and put it in the chat for you.
Was
And
Nice.
was
that
just
was a
about
very
to
nice
ask.
one.
I want to hear all the game centric like Christmas spoofs.
Yeah, other
Oh,
than
sorry
that,
about
I
that. Yeah.
don't really know what content I'm going to make this year. I have a screenshot series scheduled in, which will show some Christmas decorations in game and just how stuff is looking around this time. Also, for the Final Fantasy Friday coming out, I will be writing an article about the Starlight event, which is running at this time of the year because we got a
Oh,
special
nice.
new area in it. You might remember I posted it for the Halloween event that we have like a haunted mansion area where you can go in and there is a spooky decoration and you can take screenshots and you can turn into other NPCs. now they made a similar one for this event as well. I haven't been in yet, but I will do that, and that will be in the next Final Fantasy Friday. I don't know if I want to stream the seasonal event because the theme of my streams is around mentoring. So that doesn't really fit with me just playing through a seasonal event, especially because I'm not that good at mimicking voices and reading up the dialogues in character. So probably if someone wants to see that, they have already found a creator who is much better at that than I am.
I don't know if it's something you want to
That's
do.
awesome though. Yeah.
If it's something you want to do, I'd say do it.
We'll see. I will definitely do the screenshots and Final Fantasy Friday, and then maybe I will stream this seasonal event. Not sure.
Yeah, doing voices isn't everybody's bag. I love doing stupid voices.
I can just record the event dialogues for you, and you can read them up without knowing anything about the game and anything about the characters in it.
That
And
actually sounds kind of fun to me. That that sounds like a lot of fun, to be perfectly honest.
It could be made to be even better. Just take a lot of assumptions and run with them, right?
Yeah,
About stuff you don't know. Yeah,
yeah. Just give me the words and a picture of the character saying them, and then just let me freestyle whatever I think it
right.
should be.
yeah, these are not voiced, so it's just subtitles for the
Hmm.
dialogues,
Right.
so you can go wide with the voices. Okay, you gave
I
me an
one
idea. I will get the footage for you,
Yeah,
and
I
you
think
can
it's
do the
pretty good.
voices.
one of them is, just so you know, one of them is definitely going to be Ray Romano. One of my favorite voices of all time is the henchman from the Venture Brothers who sounds like Ray Romano. I
Oh,
love
wow,
that
yeah,
voice so much.
that's a deep cut.
Yeah.
Have you guys watched any of the secret level stuff that's out, or are
Not
you
yet.
familiar with it?
No.
Not yet. After you told me what it was, I wasn't sure what it was. I'd heard the name of it before, but I'd never looked into it.
It's by the same studio that did Love, Death, and Robots, and
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. And I remember a couple months ago, I saw a thing on YouTube where Keanu Reeves was going to be in the one about Armored Core, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. Why would he do that?" And then I found out what it was, and that the Love, Death, and Robots guys were doing it, and I was like, "This is definitely going on my list." And I've only watched 4 of them so far, but the even the 2 that were on about games that I've never played, like I didn't even know what New World was, but I think that was an absolutely hysterical episode. Um, it's just a guy, getting washed up on a beach, and I don't want to give it away, but it's absolutely hysterical. And the Unreal Tournament one, of course, I haven't played Unreal Tournament in decades, but I used to play it a lot, and the in jokes and it's obvious that some people who actually know these games wrote the episode, so that's nice
Hmm.
because there's just too much reference and too much. You'd have to be a player to get all of that, so that's kind of encouraging too. So I'm looking forward to it. I was a little disappointed in that some of the games that I really like weren't there. You kind of want them to do all of them, but I do hear good news that they're probably going to be doing another season. So
Nice. In the Unreal one, does somebody at least once use the term jib?
I believe that it is in there. Yeah,
Okay, good.
there's even an announcer that will go, double kill, and things like that when things.
Monster kill.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, there's a big Bertha in there. There's a couple of lace weapon things and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, the Dungeons and Dragons one is really kind of good too. It kind of, in a way that maybe the Dungeons and Dragons films have kind of missed, really caught the spirit of the players working together and finding their own abilities and how to do that, and then also supporting each other and being very human towards each other without
Hmm.
making them seem like real human beings. They're still in character. So that's kind of a tricky thing that's always annoyed me about Dungeons and Dragons media, you know. But and they did a really good job of capturing that, I thought. So I'm
Nice.
curious to see the rest of them.
Do you know how many are going to be in this season?
There are looking at the episode list right now. Just 15.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's Dungeons and Dragons Sifu, which I'm not familiar with either, but that was a pretty
Sifu.
cool. Yeah,
Freaking love Sifu.
yeah, New World, Unreal Tournament, Warhammer 4000, Pac-Man, which has got to be really interesting.
Gonna be weird.
Crossfire, yeah, Armored Core, The Outer Worlds, Mega Man, Exodus, Spelunky, which I'm
Hmm.
not familiar with either. Concord, Honor of Kings, and Playtime.
Okay. I only recognize like half of those.
Yeah, yeah,
But
same here. Yeah, I don't know what some of those are, but the quality has made me interested to watch them. It's
yeah.
kind of neat.
I put it on my list now because I love Dice and Robots, so I think this will be interesting as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I try not to fall into the trap of, hey, I'm not interested in that. I'm not going to watch it. And it's hard now because we have such a dearth of entertainment at our fingertips. I think you have to kind of, because you're not force fed stuff like we used to be. When there was only so many channels or so many ways to get entertainment, it was sometimes
Hmm.
forced on us. So I think it's important and it's sort of incumbent on us to push ourselves, to still look out for things that maybe we wouldn't normally watch, or wouldn't think that would be up our alley. Because if you if you don't do that, then you just end up in a tunnel, in a echo chamber and watching stuff that just applies to you all the time and not pushing yourself and finding new things. That
Yeah.
was my speech for the end. Happy holidays. Christmas wisdom from Rick Chavez.
So, will you
I
be gaming at Christmas, or will you be doing something not game related and actually go out to the real world?
Well, my family and because I live in a different state from basically all of my family. I moved to Oregon because I love Oregon. But every year for on Christmas Eve, even though we don't really celebrate, we all recognize Die Hard and Die Hard 2 are Christmas movies. So we get in an online watch party and chat while we watch Die Hard like synced up. And then usually Die Hard 2 as well.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's
That's a good
nice.
idea.
And obviously, Die Hard is a Christmas movie, no questions asked.
I
Yeah,
was
it is.
I was gonna say I brought up my list. Every year at work, somebody tries to reinvigorate the argument, and then after I yell for about 15 minutes, they say, "Okay, agree to disagree." I mean, there's no denying it. The credit song is "Let It Snow." That alone should tell you that it's a Christmas movie.
Well, I have a theory about this horror. If you'd like to hear it.
Sure.
So I think that after a couple of decades of arguing about whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie or not, we can all agree that it does actually happen during Christmas, right? So
Yeah.
I think that we have now reached the point where we need to make two categories of Christmas movies. So Christmas movies that are ostensibly about the spirit of Christmas religiously or, philosophically or whatever, because they rotate around that idea, the story does. And then movies that are Christmas themed, but don't necessarily embrace the religiosity or the philosophical aspects of Christmas. And Die Hard to me is in that category.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a subcategory.
Like there's no gift giving, there's no Santa mentions really. There's no, it's
Well,
not well, kind of.
see, there he writes
Yeah,
"ho ho ho" on the shirt, and
that's true. That's
Holly's
true.
Christmas bonus is pivotal
Yeah.
in the finale.
So now see we have something new to argue about.
Yeah, yeah. Now we can argue which subgenre of
Which
Christmas movies
subgenre of Christmas movie it belongs in. That's great.
I mean, the building would have been empty if not for the Christmas party. That's all I'm.
That is true. There wouldn't be nobody there.
I've got my God, how many bullet points are these? Like 9 bullet points. I wrote them out before my holiday work virtual gathering because I knew someone was going to bring it up, and I just wanted to like rattle them off real quick. They asked if they could mute me.
That's awesome.
The only thing I find more ridiculous than saying Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie is saying Jaws isn't a horror movie.
Right.
Yeah, it's wild,
Yeah.
wild.
FF14 players are having a hard time this holiday because the latest ultimate raid, which people are usually racing for the world first kill, got released on the Tuesday of Thanksgiving week. So pretty much people were choosing between the Thanksgiving dinner table and going into the raid again for over 12 hours.
Wow.
Oh,
And
wow.
we are getting a new style of content, which is a 24-man alliance raid in a harder version. So they picked one boss from an old alliance raid and they made it very hard, and that's what we are getting on Christmas Eve, because Tuesday is our patch day. So
Wow.
I'm only doing half day at work, and after that I will be sitting here trying to find a group for that.
I mean, the Thanksgiving one kind of makes sense because Thanksgiving
Hmm.
is an exclusively American holiday. I mean, wow, Canada, um, or Canadians have a Thanksgiving, but it's like a couple weeks before.
Yeah, not many other people have it.
Yeah, yeah, it's one of those holidays that you really only have proper Thanksgiving in the U.S. for obvious reasons, like the 4th of July. Other people have Independence Days too. It's just, different
Yeah.
dates.
Oh, French have the 4th of July. It's just a different whole background story to it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm. But that choosing choosing to launch a big raid on Christmas Eve is uh, a choice.
Mhm. Yeah, for us, our kids are all grown, but we still have two boys living at home. So we're having Christmas here, and it's pretty much just gotten to, since we're all adults now. Even the youngest is all grown up, so it's
Mm.
just pretty much food related and getting together and hanging out for the day. So that's kind of nice. Everybody comes back and hangs out for the day together and eats a lot and tells really dumb jokes, and we'll probably watch a dumb movie or something, and it's just a really nice way to spend the holiday. So
What's your go-to dumb Christmas movie? Because I have a couple Christmas movies that I watch, but they're obviously horror movies.
yeah, I don't know. We as a like I said, we're all grown up now. So I mean, there for a while, it was definitely Elf, I think,
Mhm.
because that was like a stupid movie that everybody really enjoyed. But I don't know this year. I think it's going to be. It was different last year, and we kind of didn't do the movie thing last year. It was just the way things worked out. But
Mm.
so I don't know. I think this year it'll be something new that we'll all have to pick.
Have you ever watched? Oh my God, the Arnold Schwarzenegger one,
Jingle all the way.
Jingle All the Way. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
probably my favorite, like dumb
stupid.
Christmas
Yeah,
movie.
I have
Very,
a story. I
very
have a
dumb.
story about Jingle all the way. Believe
Oh
it or
yeah.
not. Yeah. Um, back in that day, back in when it was released, I actually worked well, I was a client of ours. I worked for an advertising agency here in one of our clients was Fox Studios, and we had several clients, so I don't studio clients. But what we would do for them was when they released a film, we would put on local premieres for it, and Jingle All the Way was one of those. So we got to see it. So we would basically hold like a week before. We would hold a Friday night screening, and we would invite people from the community, to come and see it early, and then we'd all stand at the doors afterwards and ask them and fill out surveys like, what would you think of it? Would you give it, what kind of rating would you give it? That kind of thing. And then we'd mail all those back to the studio so they could get audience reaction. And
Hmm.
um, and Jingle All the Way was one of those films that I was one of the first times I got to take my oldest to a premiere like that. So he got to see it a week before and hold that. And they gave out the action figure to anyone
Oh,
under 10 who was there that night. So we gave out like 20, 25 of those. I can't even remember what the guy, Ultraman or something like that.
I couldn't even remember the movie's name.
Yeah, yeah. But the action figure that they were fighting over and trying to
Right.
find. So
Nice.
that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was a lot. I scored a lot of dad points that night.
Nice.
Do you have a Christmas tree? And if you do, do you have any geek decoration on it? which is sort of related to your content. Because I can totally imagine a Christmas tree with little EVE Online ships hanging from it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, no, I do have of those, but not on the Christmas tree is all it's all Marvel ornaments and Star Wars ornaments.
Nice. When I worked at the airport and we had a small tree in our office, you can buy these little airplane keychains which also make a
Oh
noise,
yeah,
and we were
yep.
hanging those on the tree.
Oh, that's awesome. What a great idea. Those are
And I,
great.
I saw someone doing that with Final Fantasy keychains, and it just hit me that I haven't seen Final Fantasy Christmas decorations, and that's a sin against humanity. So we need to
It
solve
really
this
is.
issue.
Yeah,
I want to put little moogles and chocobos and all that stuff on my tree.
that's awesome. Yeah, when I used to travel quite a lot, and I would buy, like if you go to New York, I would buy the little Statue of Liberty, or the Empire State Building, little models. And so every city I'd go to would have a different one. Like St. Louis would be the Arch, or LA would be the Hollywood sign or something. And so my oldest has a whole shelf full of those. So it was
Nice.
always kind of a cool thing.
My dad, it wasn't Christmas related or anything, but my dad would he was a big, well, I guess he still is a big Harley guy. He just doesn't ride much anymore. But he would take big long road trips, either for work or just for fun, and he would always bring back either a destination sticker or some kind of keychain or something. So my sister and I had a lot of various like travel souvenir kind of things
Right.
that he'd bring back
That's
for us.
awesome.
It was like we'd wait to hear that ba 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 coming back home on the day he was supposed to get back, and he'd open up the bag and we'd get our souvenir pins too. He was big on pins.
Pens are awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
good
very cool.
fun
Good
tradition.
memory.
Yeah. He's still got that Harley. It's got a problem with it. I can't remember what the problem is, but he's just not he doesn't care to fix it.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
like, "Give it to me. I'll fix it. I want a bike.
Yeah, really.
I could
That's
be a Harley
awesome.
guy."
You could be.
Yeah.
I believe in you.
Get a sidecar, put one of the dogs in it with goggles.
Yeah, I was about to say that you need something for your dogs and cats.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't think the cats want to ride a motorcycle. That's a little loud. The cats would freak out when I would start up the RV.
Aw.
They'd all hide. They're yeah, cats don't like the big
Yeah,
loud
the loud
noises.
noises.
The dogs freaking love it. They love a ride. They like
They
even when I
do.
just go to town, quick like 30-minute trip, I'll just bring the dogs in the car just because they love to be in the car.
Well, guys, thank you. And also before we're done, everybody have a great holiday.
Yeah.
Yes. It,
However you celebrate hard.
yes, it was a pleasure as always. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah.
And
Time just
probably see you in
flies.
the next one.
Probably, right?
Almost
We're
certainly.
gonna come up with a subject for it. We'll figure it out.
I have the subject already for the next one.
Oh, do
So,
you?
yep.
All right, I'll refresh my memory offline which one that is.
You better do
I,
because you are hosting that one.
Oh,
oh, okay. If that's the
ooh,
case, I think I remember what it is.
awesome.
All right,
All
everybody.
right, guys.
Well, if I don't talk to you, I'm sure I will, at least in
Yeah.
text. But if I don't talk to you